students, and Dr. Sanchez. This is Sara Richards, and this is my graduate research project on work-life balance. Our agenda, we'll start with an introduction, the hypothesis, the what, defining what work-life balance is and what millennials are. The why work-life balance is important specifically to women, and how that lack of work-life balance affects or impacts the world. Then there are 2 case studies, recommendations, and references. Work-life balance is becoming a necessity for millennial women in the workforce, as their expertise is needed in organizations, but they are also an essential part of a home's function. In the hypothesis, work-life balance can improve job satisfaction in millennial women in the field of education. Women in all sectors of work can benefit from work-life balance, but with the changing work environments, organizations need to be able to retain female employees. And at this time, millennials are representing a majority of the workplace. We're going to define work-life balance. It's the idea that individuals can achieve satisfaction in both work and non-work activities and promote equal growth in current life priorities. Some work activities would be daily tasks at work, meetings, documentation, planning, professional development, and networking. Some non-work activities, engaging with our children, with our spouse, with our family, engaging in personal health and well-being, and engaging in hobby side of our workplace. Millennials are defined as the generation born between 1982 and 1997. They're influenced by things like the September 11th World Trade Center attack and the recession of 2008. Specifically, the recession affected millennials because many were graduating college and impacted in a way they were unable to find jobs after graduating from college and delayed on starting their careers. Millennials thrive in meaningful work that provides them flexibility and portability. So they want control over the work that they are doing and how and where they are doing Now we're looking at why work-life balance is important specifically to millennial women. Millennial women are in the workplace due to rising of living, and also they want to maintain those skills that they've learned in the workplace while they're raising their children. But they also want to invest their time in their children, be able to be there for their family needs, and also engage in self-care, taking care of their mental health needs, their physical health needs. Here we're looking at the careers dominated by women. Women often find themselves in healthcare, customer service, teaching, or housekeeping careers. These are all careers that require emotional needs, can have emotional burdens, which then can in turn impact the job satisfaction. Here we see a graph of the decline in fertility rates over many decades, with fertility rates dropping worldwide. The theory can be made that women are not being supported in the labor market as they are in the workforce. They are not prioritizing um, that family or making the choice to start their own family. The first study is a qualitative exploration of work-life balance, experiences of millennial married women workers. The problem statement for the study is women in today's economic climate are pressured to financially contribute to their households. And most working women still carry the responsibility of the households, such as taking care of children. The research questions are: how do working married millennial women understand the concept of work-life balance? How do working married millennial women balance their work-life with their personal life? And how do working married millennial women experience work-life conflict, and what can they do to overcome it? The objective of the study is to understand how working married women interpret work-life balance, how these women balance their professional and personal lives, and how they manage any conflict that may occur in their professional lives. And this may be due to them trying to balance both their professional life and their personal life. The sample was 10 women in an area of Indonesia that met the following criteria: that they were aged 18 to 39 years old, they were married with children, and worked for their employer for a minimum of 1 year. The design was done with a semi-structured interview. Researchers were looking for similarities in the descriptive language the individuals used when being asked questions about their work-life balance. This was conducted personally during 20 to 30-minute sessions. This allowed their answers not to be influenced by other participants, by them being interviewed individually by themselves. The responses were recorded both audio and in written, so they could be analyzed one by one by the researchers. The results of this study showed, for question 1, the understanding of the concept of work-life balance, that 70% of participants said that balance was the most important piece of the concept, and 30% identified that time management was the most important piece of work-life balance. 2 participants also added that priority, focus, and flexibility were important for their work-life balance. In question 2, balancing work-life and personal life, 100% of the participants had themes of focus, time management, communication, superior or management support, family support, commitment, and priority, showing that work-life balance encompasses all things in the work setting. We need to be able to have that time to specifically on work tasks. We need to manage that time that we are at work when we're at work and we are doing home things when we're at home. That we can communicate those boundaries with our managers, with our superiors, and those boundaries with our family. And that when we're at work, we have that commitment and we make that priority to work. But when we are at home, we make that commitment and priority to home. So for some, that may mean, not taking work home. Specifically for teachers, that teachers work their allotted 8 hours and they keep work at work, not grading papers at home, not answering emails at home. Then for resolving conflict, 40% said prioritizing needs is what helps overcome work-life conflict. And 30% believe that professionalism was important for resolving that work-life conflict. Participants also talked about how their family support is needed for helping to resolve any conflicts that may occur at work. So just having that support of your family at home when a woman is in a career. Some limitations to this study were that the sample was very small. The interview process gave a lot of open space for interpretation of the questions and the work-life balance, and that there is limited research out there on work-life balance. Responses also had to be translated, and there was no information about the specific work that the women did. So if they were in more customer service or care positions where they're interacting a lot with individuals in the public or clients, or if they are in more jobs where there is less interaction with individuals. Some thoughts from the study are that there were 9 common themes that were shown: focus, time management, priority, professionalism, commitment, communication, company and supervisor support, family support, and flexibility, showing that women want to have a career, be professional, be committed to their organization, but also to have the support from their organization to be able to be a vital part of their family and support those needs of their family. The study was also conducted in Indonesia, where women's roles may be viewed differently than they are here in the United States. But these themes that were reflected from the questions are similar to the demands that organizations are currently facing with millennials and millennial women in the workplace. Two themes that were not often highlighted in the work-life balance demands were professionalism and communication. And again, that shows that women are willing and want to keep that, that open professional communication with their organizations so they can build those relationships with their organization and show that their skills are needed and necessary for organizational growth, especially in the labor market we're seeing where employees are needed, quality employees are needed, specifically in areas such as education where teachers are leaving, they don't feel like they're getting the support they need. So women want to communicate their needs and what they need to be a vital piece of organizations. And this again shows that work-life balance is a partnership between employees and organizations. It requires constant communication of needs, and just like in a relationship between two partners, there has to be compromises made to benefit both parties. In our second study, we look at school leadership assessment of teachers' work-life balance, participation, and professional learning needs during a global health pandemic. Research was conducted to investigate the well-being of teachers during the chaos of the COVID pandemic. The researchers wanted to understand what teachers needed to feel supported in the classroom. The goal of this study was to give strategies to create those boundaries and that self-care to help with teacher satisfaction in the classroom and in the workplace. Some preliminary information given in the study was they defined work-life balance as a person's involvement and ability to engage in work and non-work activities with little conflict in the two areas. It was reported that teachers feel more stressed than other state and local government employees, with 84% of them experiencing more stress since the pandemic. Causes of the stress are low student attendance, low student engagement, and students not having the appropriate access to learning and technology tools. Teachers report feeling overwhelmed pre-pandemic as well. The study was conducted with a survey with 106 elementary and secondary teachers. They used a tool called Teacher Work-Life Balance Assessment, which gave a 5-point scale. The questions on the assessment were, how do you feel about your teaching job? How do you describe your energy level? How frequently do you connect with people for non-work related purposes? And how often do you engage with students or coworkers? The teachers were asked to rate these things on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, so non-satisfactory, with 5 being the highest, that they were satisfied, they were confident in their areas. Now we're going to look at the results of this study. Some numbers to reflect on, such as how do you feel about your teaching job? Where only 35% of teachers answered that they felt extremely confident about their job and the job they were doing. And 24% felt neither confident nor that it was challenging, which can be concerning because we want teachers to be confident in the classroom and confident in their skills and what they're delivering to students. Next is, how would you describe your energy level? Again, we want teachers to be energetic about their teaching, to feel good in the classroom. And again, these numbers are concerning, where 24% felt their energy was neither sufficient nor insufficient, like they're not sure how they feel. And then nearly 20% were feeling somewhat insufficient or just insufficient altogether. And teaching is a job that requires a lot of energy, a lot of emotional energy, a lot of physical energy, being up, being interactive. How frequently do you connect with people for non-work purpose? Only about half say that they do make it a priority to connect with people for non-work purposes, where the other half is kind of sometimes or not much at all. So having those out of work outlets, you might have friends from work, but when you get together with them, is all you're talking about work. That's not necessarily healthy. That's not having that balance, of other hobbies, other interests, other loves besides your job. And then how frequently do you engage in conflict with students or coworkers? And this number, is very low. 43% said they never engage in conflict with students or coworkers. I think, teachers, especially during times of COVID, had to learn to kind of to band together and work together to get through the pandemic. And so they really lean on each other to get through the school year and get through hard times. And so that number shows that. And some thoughts about the study. So with the study showing that 32% of teachers are not feeling confident about their job, 43% have low energy, and over 50% reporting that they don't make connections outside the workplace, shows that teachers need support and guidance in finding that work-life balance. And this needs to be done more than just emails from the district giving advice on self-care and things like that. These need to be implemented in policies, so there's accountability for both the districts but also the teachers to engage in that balance. Schools have a traditional work model, and that warrants change in to increase that workplace satisfaction and retention. So one thing that can be done is job sharing. So as we focus on millennial women, potentially mothers, who are having their own kids and want to spend more time at home, there's the possibility of them splitting a classroom. So in the morning, teacher A works and teaches math and reading. And then in the afternoon, teacher B works and her responsibilities are social studies, science, giving those teachers that flexibility to be at home, be with their children for part of the day, but also to do what they love and provide instruction to students and keep their skills up as teachers and just do what they want to do, what they love to do, and not sacrifice their family for it. And of course, organizations have to look at that they won't be able to provide those full benefits to those part-time job sharing teachers, but it gives that flexibility and that trade-off where those teachers can opt in and have that more personal time versus those health benefits or other benefits that an organization or a district may provide. So here are some more potential work-life balance practices that organizations can put into place. Flexi-time work schedules. Employees are given guidelines for choosing work hours. So if your child needs to be at school at 7:40 in the morning and you want to be able to take your child to school and not feel rushed, so you ask if you can be to work more at 8:30 versus 8 o'clock and work a little extra here, or maybe log on at home and be available for part of the day. So of course, organizations have to set boundaries with these flex time schedules, but again, it gives the employees the power to make the adjustments they need within those boundaries to service the needs of their families. Compressed work weeks. So working 4 10-hour days. There are people who, need that extra day to get things done. So just having the ability to focus on work in those longer increments, but then having that extra day to go on field trips with their kids, or be at home to prepare things for the weekend. We highlighted job sharing with teaching. I believe this, for the current state that education is in, is one of the best ways to possibly help with the need for teachers. Teaching is a female-dominated career. Women who are in teaching, they have a passion for children. They might have a passion for having their own family. So what can districts do to support those women as they have their own families, but also have a passion, have a gift for teaching? So getting creative with those job sharing techniques. And then telecommuting or working from home or an alternate location, which millennials specifically have really clung on to this since COVID. That ability to work from home, to kind of balance things, log on for work, go to those meetings, do what you need to do, but then can get things done at home in between. So now we'll look at the impacts to organizations that work-life balance can have. Notice the positive impacts list is greater than the negative. So positive impacts, high productivity and performance, low absenteeism, low turnover, having a positive reputation in the day now of social media and Glassdoor, LinkedIn. Those companies, they need positive reviews, positive reputations out there on the web, in social media. Same with school districts. School districts get rated on these platforms also. Fostering positive relationships within the organization. So if people feel like they're being heard, they're being supported, that their home life is in order, they're going to be able to have positive relationships in their work life also. There's improved communication. If at my school district, if my daughter has something come up, I want to communicate that with my principal and know she is going to be supportive with whatever I may need to support my daughter or support my family. And if I know their work-life balance procedures are supported, I'm going to communicate my needs to my organization, to my supervisor. And also loyal and committed employees. If employees are happy, they're going to stay. They're going to want to be at work. They're going to want to do what they can for their organization, for their supervisors, to make a positive impact at work. Some negative impacts. So absent employees, increased turnover, reduced productivity. If individuals don't feel comfortable in their home life, in their relationships at home, it's going to carry over into their work. They're going to be absent from work to try and get those home things done or to take care of themselves. They're burnt out, they're tired, they're getting sick because they're not taking care of themselves. They're going to be out looking for other jobs that gives them those things they need to support themselves outside of work. And when we're sick, when we don't feel good, when we're not at work, we have reduced productivity. Now we'll look at the impacts of work-life balance on the employees. So employees have happiness and satisfaction, both at work and at home. They have reduced stress because they are able to meet their needs at work, but also meet their needs at home. The negative outcomes would be stress in their personal life, health concerns, low job satisfaction, potential cause for workplace conflicts, and also alcohol and drug use is a possibility. So individuals don't have enough time to incorporate healthy coping skills or don't know what kind of coping skills to use. So drugs and alcohol are an easy go-to. I know especially in teaching, like teachers might go to happy hours, things like that, and to kind of cope, de-stress, things like that, where if they felt they had more time, more support, could build healthy habits, because healthy habits take time, they would not turn to those more simple, not as healthy coping mechanisms such as alcohol. So boiling everything down, work-life balance really comes down to flexibility. Employees have begun insisting on work schedules that provide more flexibility to accommodate personal needs, such as children and families. Flexibility, of course, is going to vary by industry. Someone who bills insurance is able to do that possibly from home and maybe can pick and choose more hours, where a person who is a teacher, of course, is required to be present when students are in school. So what can districts do to incorporate that flexibility into that school schedule day? Like we talked about with job sharing, the teacher still is required to be at school a certain time, but it's a shortened day. They're sharing that responsibility with another teacher, so it gives them some flexibility. And generally, flexibility just allows a schedule that's different from that traditional 8 to 5 like we see. So why flexibility now? With higher rates of women in the workforce, but our birth rates dropping, organizations of all types, corporate organizations, governments, schools, public services, need to evaluate their responsibility to the people component of the triple bottom line. Women specifically need support in achieving work-life balance so they can help develop the next generation of workforce. So women are needed, to bring in the next generation of working individuals. And organizations need to support women who want to have significant roles at work as well as at home. So not only do we need women to have children, they need to raise them. They need to teach them those work habits, those empathy skills, those kindness skills that are needed in the workplace. Um, School and childcare is great for children, but we need teachers and childcare workers who have the energy, who have the drive, who are not burnt out, and want to also foster and develop those skills in children so we can generate another amazing workforce in the futures to come. And recommendations. Organizations have a responsibility to employees, ensuring they have the tools they need to balance their work activities and their home activities, not just by sending out mass communication about ways to incorporate healthy styles in your life, but putting in policies, procedures such as job sharing, flex time, telework options for employees who are at different stages in life and need support in different ways during those different stages of life. Specifically in the US, we experience a culture of busyness. We are potentially always at work with having access to email on our phones, having work phones, having workstations at home. Organizations need to empower their employees to leave work at work and engage in healthy and family activities at home. Sectors where there's major attrition is occurring specifically in education, and education is having difficulty retaining quality people. With this generational shift and personal focus, HR needs to create policies that allow millennial employees and the next generation of employees to feel control and flexibility over their work and work style. Again, drawing clear boundaries between home and work, which gives employees the ability to be more productive at work and to be more present at home as parents and spouses. Organizations can put simple measures in place to give employees options when it comes to being able to attend to life events, such as having a baby, taking care of family members, or taking care of themselves and their health, such as what we mentioned, that telework, job sharing, flexed schedules, or compressed work weeks. Of course, not all industries can tap into all of these measures. Like I said, specifically with education, really job sharing is what would be best in that setting, because teachers need to be on campus when students are. Students need consistency with their teachers, but two teachers are able to deliver great curriculum, and maybe even better because you have one teacher whose strength, whose love, whose passion is reading, and then you have another teacher whose passions are more in science, engineering, and math, and they can develop a great classroom, great learning, by teaming up, along with serving those needs for themselves, for their families, for their children at home, and be satisfied and be loyal, but also enjoy the job that they're doing. Attached are my references. I appreciate your time for listening and hearing my graduate research project on work-life balance. Um, Good luck to you in the rest of your school year, and thank you.